Your drop isn't the problem. Check this out. I'm gonna play the same drop twice, and I want you to tell me why they feel completely different.
I miss those summer nights. They were like something out of a movie. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you I miss you. I miss those summer nights. They were like something out of a movie. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you I miss you.
So that was the same exact drop twice, but they felt completely different. And that's because of everything that came before it, not the drop itself. Now I know you've been here before. You're in the studio working on your song, it's a great idea, you have these great sounds, yet for whatever reason, the drop just isn't hitting, and you're struggling to figure out why. This comes down to something I call the tension framework. It's just 4 things working together in your buildup, but they really do determine whether the drop lands or sucks. And all 4 follow this same rule. Whatever your drop has, the buildup needs to have the opposite. Okay, you can't have full if you don't also have sparse. Look at how many elements this first drop has. There's kick, there's bass, the drums, all the instruments, the effects. It's a lot of shit playing. Now, if I want that moment to truly hit and feel special, if I give you that same feeling right before the drop, how special is that gonna feel? And that's the issue I ran into here. Notice that in this build-up section, you could visualize this, all of the elements that are about to play on my drop are also happening in my build-up. It's the same amount of instrumentation. Watch when I play through, everything carries over.
I miss those summer nights. They were like something out of a movie. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you I miss you.
So look at the drums here, right? They are the same exact loops. Build up into the drop. All right, same thing with the bass and the instruments. Okay, then this drop, the one that hits better, I just said, look, if I'm gonna have all these elements playing on the drop, I don't wanna give them to you right before. So you could actually see in my breakdown, there are a lot of shared elements here. There are things that carry over. But once we get closer and closer, I strip back more and more and more, so we're creating the opposite feeling of what the drop is, and that creates that powerful emotion, feeling when the drop hits. We go from small to big.
Do you still like going to the pier and watching the sunset? Does it still smell like salt and sugar? And are there still ice cream trucks and people laughing? I miss those summer nights. They were like something out of a movie. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you I miss you.
And then boom, everything comes back in. And keep in mind, this can be done in both ways. Let's say you have a more minimal drop where it's just something like kick and bass, like this. I would just treat my buildup as the opposite of this. If I'm only gonna give you a couple elements on my drop, then I will allow my buildup to have a lot of shit going on, so there's that contrast when the drop hits and we get the opposite feeling. Now, density alone won't get you there. Even if you're doing that right, the next part of this framework is required for your drop to hit. And I was doing it here, I just didn't bring it up yet. So let me show you. Okay, so you can't have bright if you don't also have dark. And that's part of what the issue was here with that first drop example that didn't quite hit. I want you to look at this spectrum analyzer so you can visualize the frequencies. in the buildup and the drop. They were pretty similar. Like, yes, I did cut the kick in this one to just kind of make it feel like a buildup into a drop, but other than that, everything in the spectrum is the same. It's the same elements playing with the same frequency. Now, in the opposite example where the drop hits, I do a couple things to fix this. So let's start by looking at the spectrum just like we did for the last example.
Anyway, I just wanted to tell you I miss you.
Okay, so this one's a much bigger difference. Audibly and visually, we understand that we went from very little to the drop having a lot. So some things I want to consider when doing this. Obviously, density helped the previous thing we talked about, not having as much going on, but even leading up to this moment, we can do things like automation to help us control the frequency balance. Let me show you. So starting with the drums, in the entire break, I actually have them running through this EQ, and you can see it turns off here, so it's not going to run on the drop. But basically what it's doing is it's getting rid of just a little bit of high end in the break. So even though the drum elements are the same, they're not producing the same amount of high end that I'm going to be doing on the drop. Now I'm doing a similar thing with the bass, but I did it through sound design rather than automation. My break bass just doesn't have as much high end as the drop bass. So same concept, I get to grow when my bass drop hits. Now another really important thing with frequency is low end. Our drops typically need a lot of it. And for your drop to have that feeling where it is the bigger moment of your arrangement, you want to make sure your drops and breaks differ a little bit in terms of that low end volume. So I don't want to give you as much or more volume in the low end in my break. Otherwise my drop's going to feel smaller, right? So let's just look at what the drop levels are roughly. All right, so they're dancing around this area. I'm going to play the break now, and I would like it to be less, because if I have less in the break, my drop will literally be bigger. So let's check this section out now.
And lay on the roof to listen to music and watch the stars until the sun came up.
100%. Significantly less low end here. You need to be mindful of this. I really enjoy spectrum analyzers for this in particular because you can't always trust your ears. Like you're so in the moment, you want your break to sound full. You might overcompensate by having too much low end. There's no hard rule in how much more do you need on a drop. I think it's just being mindful that you don't want to like peak in the wrong section of your arrangement. Now, as good as frequency and density are, the two things we've covered so far, there's still a whole nother dimension that nobody really talks about. And this is key in terms of the drop hitting. I was doing it here, so now let me show you the next part of the framework. We cannot have wide if we don't have narrow, and this is a really important mixing concept. If I understand that my drop is wide, which it is, there's a lot of shit playing on the sides. I don't want to give you that same size in my break and build leading up. So what I've done here is, in this section, like earlier in my break, yeah, I'd say it's probably equally as wide.
A roof to listen to music and watch the stars.
But as I approach, I get narrower and narrower to the point where, listen, right before the drop, like it almost becomes dead mono.
I just wanted to tell you I miss you.
And then right at the end, it widens back up into the drop. So we sort of shrink the image in and then we open back up on the drop. So what you're gonna see on these elements is I'm actually narrowing the width through this little pre-drop build section. On my utility, I'm just bringing the width down of several elements. Basically anything that's spacious and wide that's playing before my drop, it just gets narrower and narrower. So you'll see all of them are coming down with width. And then right before the drop, they either cut or they open back up to 100% and they go back to their typical size. Now, this works both ways. Let's say you have the opposite, where your drop is really simple, just like kick, bass, lead, drop, or something like that, and they're all central in the mix, mono. I would try and make my build the opposite, widen things as it's building, and right before the drop hits, boom, everything comes back down to the center, and now that contrast is what makes it stick. So you see how combining this with the other two parts of the framework, it's all adding up to make this difference. But there's still one more left, and it's probably the most important one, because if you don't get this one right, your drop is going to lose half its power. Finally, you can't have loud without quiet. Being that my drop is the peak moment of this, I would like it to be louder than the break build that comes before it. So I can create that several ways. Obviously, by removing a ton of elements here, we're losing a bunch of volume and frequency.
I just wanted to tell you I miss you.
So really combining the density part of the framework, the frequency part of the framework, that will contribute to volume. That's a good thing. The other thing though that is going to happen is you're going to need more at times, and you'll see I do a fair amount of volume automation on sounds to just make sure if they can come down before the drop, I can then have them step back up into the drop. And I know my drop is literally louder than the break and build that come before it. So a lot of these elements, I am taking something as simple as just a utility and lowering the volume and having it come back up. So like this element's really important. But here I drop the volume so that it allows me to make it important on the drop.
And are there still ice cream trucks?
You see how I have it significantly quieter because I know it's a prominent piece of my drop. So I'm going to pull it a little back before, and then on the drop I can push it back forward.
I just want to...
So think about this on an individual level. Now, we can do this on the master too. So if I just take a utility and put it on my main, I could technically automate the volume of my entire track to come down over this section, which also works pretty well. Don't think it's one or the other though. Like I probably do a little bit of both in cases. Like a lot of times I do start with some on the master, just making sure I know my entire track is coming down a little bit. I wouldn't go crazy on the master though, because everything is impacted by it. So usually 1 to 2 dBs I find is enough. If I need to do more, it's rare that I need the whole track to come down more. I probably need 1 or 2 elements, and that's where you can go a little bit more aggressive on some of the gain automation. So think of it like this. Your drop can be anything. It's not so much about the drop, but it's how you set the drop up that's going to determine if it succeeds or if it fails. If you like this video, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. And if you'd like to work with myself, Justin, and the entire team here at Cosmic Academy, I'm going to put a link pinned below. We have our artist development bootcamp where we can work directly with you, help you in your specific needs. Like me and you can literally do this in your projects together. But I'll leave that pinned below. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next video.